Hey guys, so I've been wanting to do a new video for a while, but I felt like I didn't really have time because I just started teaching. But I soon realized that when you're teaching, you feel like you really don't have time to do anything, so I might as well do it now. So, yes, I started teaching about 2 to 3 weeks ago on August 15th. When I first started, I was super nervous, and because I didn't know what to expect, I didn't know what the kids would be like, I didn't know how I would do. And then like the very first day was like a half day almost. It was like we got out at about an hour early, around 2 o'clock, and we only had like 10 to 15 minute class periods. I was like, what do I do with them for like 10 to 15 minutes? But I figured it out, and everything came out really good. And like by the second day, I wasn't really even nervous anymore. It took me about a week and a half to get completely comfortable, and I still ask a lot of questions, but that's to be expected because like the first year is really just like a big learning experience, and I've heard like you really don't know what you're doing ever because everything always changes, and it's always good to see like the teachers that I had about 11 to 12 years ago, and it's kind of like, well, they're just regular people. They're not like famous or like you know how you see a teacher like out in the street and like, oh my goodness, that's my teacher, because like even though when you get older, you know the teacher doesn't live at school, but it's just cool to see them like in their personal life because they separate their personal life and their professional life super well, and I've also learned to do that also. And just a little background knowledge on me: I decided to teach, I think, my sophomore year of college or high school. First, I wanted to be a veterinarian, but once I started taking chemistry, I was like, well, yeah, I'll just change to middle school writing because I really like to write and I wanted to be a writer. My mom was like, well, you need a backup career. So, well, I'll just teach it then because everybody knows that teaching is easy. And so I was like, well, that'll be an easy thing to do. And once I got to be about a freshman or a sophomore in college, I changed it to social studies because I really figured out that I enjoy social studies and history, not so much the geography part or the economics part. I mostly like the American history, world history a little bit when you get to talk about like Africa and Europe and how, yeah, I just leave that part alone. Um, and then when I got to be, let's see, a sophomore in college, I went to an advisor at Murray State Paducah, and she was like, "Well, you're gonna need like another major besides just middle school social studies." She said, "Why don't you do special education?" Because she was used to be a special education major and a special education teacher for many years before she started teaching at Murray State and retired. So she was recruiting a lot of people for special education. And I was like, well, I have a cousin that's autistic, and I think I know a little bit about it. I think I'll do that. And so that's how I got to be a special education major. So my major is LBD middle with a specialization in social studies. So I can teach special education from K to 12 and middle school social studies 5 through 9. And, well, I started like working after college at a daycare called Easter Seals in Paducah, and I worked there for about 4 months. I figured out that wasn't for me, and then I started working at Southern Seven Head Start, and I really liked it. But it's just that with the degree, I felt like I should be able to make a little bit more, and working with younger children was nice because my mom has a daycare, and it was pretty cool. But I was like, well, I just really want to work in my major, so um, when you're a teacher, you have to take teacher exams. I took my praxis core test about 2 years before and passed those after a little bit because the math I had trouble passing. I'm not afraid to admit that because what you do is that you persevere and you keep trying and trying and trying. Maybe even if it's 6 times. Anyway, um, I took my special education exam, passed that on the first try, and then my middle school exam, I passed that. Social studies, even though I'm really good at that, you have to learn like certain parts of history, like all in one time, and take a test on it for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So that was about 3 times on that one. And so that was another thing that was preventing me from starting right away because I graduated last May from Murray State. And I finally got my license back in June. And that was after I was accepted for the job. I went to a job interview with my past principal, which is now the superintendent of Massac County Schools, and then the my principal. Um, they're related, kinda. And so it's pretty cool just to be there talking to my old principal from high school, and he was talking about how, I used to be super shy, and it's really cool seeing you back here, and you're Miss Metropolis and everything, and just really blossoming into a good person and outgoing most of the time. And so that was nice. And then the principal from the junior high called me while I was on vacation and offered me the job at Massac Junior High because she needed someone that had a specialization of social studies that was a special education major, and so I fit that part. And also, the girl that left the job, I watched her child for her this summer, so that was a big coincidence, and I'm really blessed to be able to have this opportunity. It was funny today, a little kid walked up to me and he said, "Are you Mrs. Hutchison or Miss Hutchison?" And I said, "Yeah, how do you know that?" And I was kind of thinking, uh-oh, what's been said about me? And he said, well, because I was thinking like he would describe, like the students would describe me as like the only black teacher in the school and the one that looked like a kid herself and short and everything. He said, well, my friend said you're the teacher that gives out candy and gum. I was like, oh, yeah, that's true. And I was like, oh, okay. He just knows me as a teacher that gives out candy. But obviously, to know like who I was, they had to kind of describe me physically. And so I was like, yep, probably known as the black teacher that looks like a child. But yes, super excited and just wanting to know what the future holds and just giving you guys a little update. Hopefully, I'll be able to do more updates more frequently as I get used to my schedule and get used to everything. But thanks for watching. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them about special education. If you have any suggestions for me, if anybody out there is a teacher or a past teacher or just anything, I am willing to take anyone's advice because anybody needs advice, and especially a first year teacher. So if you have any advice, just put in the comments, like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.